Hey, what's up, CAUSENETIC family?
Welcome to the CAUSENETIC podcast.
CAUSENETIC means being a person or thing that gives rise to a phenomenon that is dynamic or energizing.
We're tackling topics and telling the truth.
Hey, I'm Keith Stevenson.
And I'm Rodrigo Ross.
And today we're talking about enough.
Enough!
My mama used to say enough is enough. Now y'all sit down back there.
I'm sure she said that to you a lot.
A whole lot.
A whole lot, right?
So we're talking today about all things is enough.
Enough, right? So the idea, or this whole idea of enough is very objective,
right?
Because in some instances it's easy for a person to discern what enough is, but in other instances, whether it's an individual person or us as a society, we seem to have a bit of trouble deciding what is enough. Like, what is the limit?
And so I got one example.
Okay.
How many pair of shoes
is
enough?
Now look, let me help you understand this. The very definition of enough, right? According to Merriam-Webster, which is a very reliable source.
Okay.
Merriam-Webster says the definition of enough is something is occurring in such quantity, quality, and scope as to fully meet the demands, the needs, or the expectations. So when you ask me what's enough shoes, I can't tell you that because my shoe closet collection isn't burgeoning to the point where I feel like it's enough quantity and scope to fully meet my demands. It is not of sufficient quality necessary for my satisfaction. So it's not enough, okay? Is that what you wanted to hear? Now, I didn't say it. Webster said it. I don't have enough shoes. In that particular instance, no, I don't have enough.
Yeah, whenever somebody got to explain something that length of time, you know they might be,
They might have had enough, huh?
Yeah, they might have had enough by then.
Because I done thought about this thing because I knew you were going to ask me that.
Yeah, and then that's the reason that you had the detailed explanation of that didn't sound like it was just put together. Well, but on a more serious note,
I don't have enough, so there's that.
Okay. On another note, violence.
Violence
in our society.
Enough, right? How do you discern enough? Because I am so sure that the people affected by violence, that one time it happens to them, right? That's enough. Exactly. But the people who aren't affected by the violence, there seems to be this lean or this bend towards, well, let us see it happen multiple times for us to discern whether or not this is a real problem or it's a trend or perhaps this was a fluke. And then perhaps I'll say that it's enough, right? So where's the sweet spot? How do you know this is enough? I'll tell you one time, though, when one was enough. So in 1996, a little girl named Amber Hagerman was riding her bike in Arlington, Texas, and was kidnapped, and subsequently they found her murdered. From that one kidnapping in Arlington, we now have what we know as the Amber Alert, right? And so Amber, surely for her name, but it stands for America's Missing Broadcast Emergency Response. This is a nationwide effort that alerts people instantaneously when children are missing. In that instance, one was enough, right? But we don't use that same math in other situations. We have multiple occurrences of very similar types of activities that continuously happen across our country, and yet I'm not sure if I'm seeing concrete solutions come to pass like the one that was created with the Amber Alert. So one is okay in this situation, but one is not okay, right? In other situations, it's baffling. And
we have to get to a point where, because the one had already happened before,
right?
And so this one just took it over the top, in order for it to put this one into place.
Yep.
And so can we do that with all things? I don't know. I think we can think through situations that happen in our society whereby we need to do something.
Yes.
Something else.
Yes.
Because we know that this has become a problem.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Right.
Because when we talk about...
We can pick from different its nowadays.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of its
It's a lot of its out there.
We can listen to the news enough to just tell us,
and get a list of it.
Right, and hold it.
Yeah.
Now you talk about the alert. Now here's, I know this is a serious one, but if you don't mind indulging me on this part, it's a silver alert. You know what the silver alert is?
Yes, I do.
And I don't know if that's in all states. But
I do.
I know it's here in Texas. So for those of you who may not know, if you're riding down the highway, you may see silver alert. And that's a program that was created by Texas legislation in 2007. And that was designed to notify the public of missing adults.
Yes.
That have mental conditions. And my son and I was telling him, I was like, man, look, whatever you do, man, don't put a brother in the home.
I'd put you in there just to be petty.
I said, now if you do,
you gonna leave?
That silver alert gonna be going off.
Oh my gosh! Because you left.
Because I left.
If you don't, it might be very nice, and they have activities and good food. You might like it.
Yeah. But this was coming off of an experience where we had went to one Christmas. We went to give out some socks and toiletries to some seniors, and man, and it wasn't probably the best home. And what I saw there is like I didn't want to I don't want to experience that there.
Right.
So that's what that was spinning off of.
But now the silver alert is so prevalent, at least here in Texas, that anytime you're driving down the highway, you see these alerts. They're coming to your phones. They really are in terms of frequency, getting up there with Amber Alerts, which is alarming and comforting at the same time, right? Like, I'm glad that this vehicle exists to let people know, because I can imagine how many folks that has helped, but it's a little alarming that we have so many of them that we're getting on a regular basis. So what is enough, right? Like, why do we have so many people who are having to alert the public because this is happening, or they may be in precarious situations, or whatever the case may be? So enough, this concept of enough. You know what else is enough?
What's that?
Gas prices. I am sick of gas prices.
I tell you what, enough is enough.
Enough is enough. Oh, good gracious.
Can we get back to, I remember when it was 99 cents.
You know what? I don't remember that, but I heard them tell of that back in the
Don't you sit up here lying to these folks.
I don't remember that. That was back in the old days, like with Fred Flintstone and the car you drove with your feet and all that.
I went and filled up the other week. I just got a little sedan. $67, and somebody laughed at me like, "Boy, you better be thankful."
You better be thankful.
Somebody said $110 to fill up the truck.
I was talking to a coworker today who I think they have a family member that's an independent trucker, or they drive their own trucks. They said every time they stop for gas, it is in excess of $1,000 to fill up their truck to transfer. Yes, I'm like, oh, good gracious! They would have to pick me up off the gas station ground if I'm pumping and this thing went to $1,000.
I couldn't even watch that.
I couldn't.
That's a mortgage payment.
You know how many pairs of shoes? That's some shoes that I don't have enough of. We have established that.
Yeah. I look at my closet.
Oh, good gracious.
I tell you what I got enough of.
Bow ties.
Oh, no.
See? Well, now you know how I feel about shoes.
Well, I tell you what, you want to compare the prices? Because I'm sure I could take my
whole... I think that's enough for that conversation.
Right,
what don't you have enough of?
Leave it there then.
What you looked in your closet and...
I get one more black t-shirt.
Why you got so many? Well,
you know what?
Because they're slimming.
What? You know what?
I ain't gonna talk you.
I'll be honest now. I do put on one because
they're slimming. I'm not gonna back away from my black t-shirts, black pants, black dresses, black shirts, black everything.
You looking good today.
I know, because I got this black on.
Did you do something different?
I did. I put on black. That's what I did.
Then comes the next day. Like, wow, you look a whole lot different from yesterday. Did you?
Right. Well, today I decided to not wear black, and here we go. Here we are. But you know what else? I'm struggling with, and I don't know. In this day and age, I'm still on the fence about what is enough. Social media. Social media. Like, what is enough? Like, on some. On one side of the spectrum, it's very entertaining, right? Like, I get all kinds of entertainment. You see funny TikToks and things on Instagram and all that. But then on the other end, it's like some of the rhetoric you hear, some of the misinformation you hear. Sometimes it's just too much and it's overwhelming, and you just find your brain feels cluttered. So what is enough with social media?
Because social media will take you from, let me just look at this for 30 seconds, and then the next thing you know is 20 minutes later.
And, only 20 minutes?
Right.
Oh, mine is more like an hour.
Yeah. Then there is some appreciation when I ain't got nothing but some time to feel. And,
and
you
then
go and look at some videos that, just keep you laughing and stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's some good ones.
There's some good ones out there, I know. We should make TikToks. You think so?
I ain't making about TikTok.
Let's make TikTok.
I'm making no TikTok. I gotta do this podcast with you, so what?
We can't do podcasts and TikToks. All right.
When I think of my man Brian Stevenson, for those who don't know, Brian Stevenson, he's widely acclaimed, public interest lawyer he's dedicated his career basically to just helping poor people, people that's been incarcerated, and what he helps them with is. They didn't do anything to be incarcerated. And so people spend years. I think of my
lifetimes.
Man, Richard Miles.
Yep.
15 plus years.
Yep.
They was locked up.
For a crime he didn't commit.
It
was a gentleman that I was reading today, got released, spent 40 plus years in jail for a crime he didn't. That is a lifetime. For a crime he didn't commit. And unfortunately, they're not anomalies, right? They're not one-offs. It happens way more than it ever should. And when do you say enough? How many is enough?
Thankful for people like Brian Stevenson who's out there doing this type of work. Thankful for technology now that even people are even more curious to take on different people cases, and they spend their full-time career doing that.
And
so big shout out to Brian Stevenson for the work that he does down there.
So here's the flip side though of enough, right? Oreos. There's no such thing as enough.
You know what?
Don't you say anything bad about Oreos.
Okay, well, I got it. So, I thought that was the case, but I bought, so in my refrigerator right now, because I had my mind on some Oreos.
You put Oreos in the refrigerator?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Man. And so I went and bought the thin lemon ones. And what I found, because I've been trying to stay away from them, because they just how Oreo is round. I look down at my waistline.
You're touching the Oreo. That was excellent, Keith. That was excellent.
But now I've been eating them, and they put a different taste in my mouth. Like,
the lemon?
It's almost like too much sugar that's in my mouth. And so therefore it's putting in a taste in my mouth like that is...
That's enough?
Yeah. But I'm gonna finish off the batch that I got.
Of course you are. Of course, because God forbid, you just don't eat them.
That's 350 that's going. I gotta say.
A whole $3. Well, with gas prices, I understand. You can't just be wasting.
I'm gonna put my 350 to a half a gallon. Gas prices so high.
Gas prices can't even enjoy your Oreo. First of all, I disagree. I patently disagree. There's no such thing as enough Oreos. I don't know what's going on in this phase of your life where your taste buds are not working. But I think you should get that checked out.
I tell you what, you keep on eating Oreos.
Yeah, I got enough too. Enough of this pandemic rate that won't get off me.
Exactly.
You're right about that.
I give me Oreo.
I'm all right now. We ain't going nowhere with that one. I'm not. You know what else? I personally, I can't get enough of. I don't think there's necessarily enough of money. So so you can see how we can name some things and definitively say, now that's enough. But some other things like money, can you say, all right, you know what? Don't pay me. Why? I'm gonna come to work and I'm gonna do this because I got enough. Do you ever see yourself saying that?
Nah,
I didn't think so.
We're not turning down any money. But all money's not good money.
Well,
so
that's very true. That's very true.
I guess there is a way that you can say enough is enough.
You can say that there is enough money.
Yeah.
That is a very good point.
Yeah.
Good job. 1 for Keith, 4 million for Rod. Thank you. You got a good point, though. That was one good point. Yeah. So here's another thing. Working in a branch, what we never had enough of, I don't care how much we ordered, I don't care how much we tried to ration, we never had enough. Coffee for seniors. It was just never. Seniors can drink coffee right before bed.
But you say seniors, but that really goes across the board for everybody. Cause
everybody drinking coffee.
You know, at most wives keep the coffee on up until about noon each day. Now, for those who may come in the morning, if they trip up and come in the evening for some reason, they looking around like, hey, where's the coffee?
Yes.
Like you can't just have it in the morning. We need it.
Because I'm here in the afternoon and I want some.
I mean, because coffee, shucks, Dunkin' Donuts, as people used to know it as, but if you know, Dunkin' Donuts is now just called Dunkin' because they sell more coffee than donuts.
They didn't sell enough donuts.
There you go.
I didn't know that. You got 2 today. You're on a roll. Keith, you're on a roll.
Let's keep going.
Wow.
I can do this thing.
Okay. So enough. What are some things that you can say, okay,
enough is enough?
I can't get enough. I don't know if I can say enough.
Said what's enough of.
What?
I'm going to have to go on the opposite end here with human trafficking.
Absolutely, that's enough.
That is known now as really the modern slavery.
Yeah, it is.
And at some point, we got to figure this thing out and making sure that we don't have, businesses that are, taking full advantage of women and sex trafficking them. That has to stop.
And, the nature by which some of these people enter into this human traffic space is getting so brazen these days. There was just recently a story of a young lady here in South Dallas who was walking down the street. She had from my understanding, she had gotten into an argument with her mom, the typical teenage angst. And I'm going outside to take a walk and blow some steam off. And the mom was like, yeah, you just go walk down the street. They've been living in this area for a very long time, knew all of the people in the area, grew up in the area. The young lady just walking down the street and never came home. Literally, someone came and snatched her off the street. And this wasn't a young girl. She was a teenager. She was like maybe a junior in high school. And it was weeks before they found her. But when they did, she absolutely had been trafficked. Wow. And it's getting so brazen.
25 million people are victims of forced slavery.
Man.
25
million. That's insane. That's enough.
That hurts my heart.
That's enough.
To know that right there.
Yeah.
I mean, people snatching young girls up. I mean, I have a daughter.
Yeah.
And I think about that.
Absolutely.
I understand now what my mom used to worry about me about.
Absolutely.
And so when my daughter goes out, I'm just
you're
like
on edge. New immigrants who come to this country because they're following this ideal of a better life, and they get caught in human traffic situations where people are holding their visas and making them work, and they're not getting paid, and they're living in deplorable conditions, and they don't have a way out, and it's enough. I agree. That is definitely enough. Enough is enough. So on the flip side, though, lighten it up a little bit. Financial assistance from the Y. We don't seem to think there's enough. I will tell you, I always budgeted to only spend this And I always went way past that number in my budget because the need was there.
The need is great.
And we didn't say no. We didn't turn people away. So
I mean, our goal is that we turn no one away
for inability to pay. And so that's pretty much, I think that's a good enough to be like, oh, well, I'm not paying attention to that enough. We just going to keep going past
the budget says one thing, but the need says another.
The need says another.
The great thing about the why is always there for
Absolutely.
communities. When we talk about the different programs that we're able to provide for our young people, we can't stop. We can never say it's enough programs.
Right. Kids and families and programs, we'll never say, okay, don't recruit anymore. That's enough. I ain't never heard it.
I mean, we take it back. We created volleyball. We created basketball. Those things, we continue to reinvent ourselves in such a way that allow for those type of programs, whereas they may be traditional now, we're trying to create newer things. We're introducing people to pickleball now.
Every time I hear pickleball, I do want a pickle, but it has nothing to do with pickles, huh?
No, nothing to do with pickles.
I could eat a pickle, though.
Did you put your Jolly Rancher inside there?
No, I never did that. No, that's too many tastes going on.
Well, you live here in Texas.
Give me the pickle.
Did you have one of them Kool-Aid pickles?
No, I've seen it, but I could never get into the Kool-Aid. That's enough with the pickles. Just eat a pickle.
That's enough, right?
That's enough. Just the pickle is enough. Just eat the pickle. I don't need all that extra in my pickle.
Enough is enough. Enough is enough.
Oh, but this whole idea, I absolutely think that we are in the space as an organization and as a society where we really have to reckon with our definition of enough in some of the spaces, right? And just say, okay, that's it. This is the limit. We have to do something about it, whether it's police violence, whether it's acts of racism, whether it's human trafficking, whether it's gas prices, violence. Just you got to learn how to say enough. You got to pick your enough.
Pick your enough, and then it's like, how you put your voice into that space right there.
And how do you coalesce and as an organization support your communities through working through enough, because the answers and the solutions for many of these things lie in the people most affected by it, right? Like if you help galvanize them and help them imagineer new solutions, you don't necessarily have to be the one to find the solution, but at some point we have to say, okay, that's enough. We're going to dedicate some space and place and time to finding the solutions to some of these things.
Whether you pro or con against a particular thing, like you got to understand that the things that are most heinous, like you got to understand that is causing our society some issues, and so at least come in where you can come in at. At least come into a place that everybody can just have a conversation, and that because we are fully grown adults, we're going to sit down there and truly listen to folks, being able to come together and talk about those different things.
Because at some point,
move forward.
Everyone is going to be affected by whatever this enough. If we don't figure out the things that are happening environmentally and how we're not taking care of our planet, everyone's going to be affected. Right. If we don't figure out how do we mitigate through racism and sexism and bias and all that, everyone is affected. If we don't figure out how do we stop and lower and keep crime low and revisit the conditions which really kind of spur on different crime, everyone gets affected. And so it benefits so many people when we just collectively say enough and we begin to reach across and like you said, have these conversations and dedicate ourselves or lean into or help out or however you can to getting things to stop.
Hey, what is your enough?
What is your enough?
What is your enough?
Not shoes and not Oreos.
Right.
Don't ask me that. Okay. And money.
Okay.
Don't ask. But you can ask me the rest of the things.
Okay. And CAUSENETIC listeners, you guys figure out what's your enough.
What's your enough?
Put your voice in that space right there, so that we can get to a point that we can have solutions there. And look, thank you guys for listening to CAUSENETIC
on this episode called Enough.
And subscribe to it, listen to us weekly.
And don't be shy, give us a 5-star review.
And as always,
dynamic,
phenomenal,
be CAUSENETIC.